Mortgage rates are still high, and with all of these incorrect predictions and expectations from these experts, it feels like nobody really knows what's going to go on with these rates. They expected them to be in the fives by now, but they're still in that 7.5 range. With all of this uncertainty with the rates, I want to talk about how that is affecting today's market. So let's begin. Hi, my name is Caden. I'm a licensed realtor out here in the Phoenix Valley of Arizona. I've got a free living in Arizona guide, kind of goes through everything anyone who is moving to Arizona or thinking about moving to Arizona would need to know before they actually make the move out here. So if you'd like that, shoot me an email and I can get that over to you. Anyway, as I said, mortgage rates are in that 7.5 range, which makes buying a home pretty difficult, making the payments really high. On about a $400,000 home, you're looking at a payment of around $2,800, which is a high for a lot of these first-time homeowners and also just home buyers in general, especially because a couple years ago, these home buyers were used to these 2.5% rates where people could buy a $300,000 home and have a $1,100 payment on it. A lot of people still have those, and in fact, about 3/4 of the homes across the nation have a historically low rate, which makes people who are thinking about moving a lot less likely to move when they see the new payments on their new home. And the people who are trying to buy, it's a lot harder to qualify to actually buy a home. So I want to talk about just kind of what's been going on with the rates, because it seems like everybody's been saying from the beginning of the year, mortgage rates are going to go down, mortgage rates are going to go down, but they've actually gone up over 2% since the beginning of the year. Now, any housing expert you would have spoken to in the last couple of months would have said, yes, by May 10th, the May 10th inflation report, housing interest rates will finally drop to 5%. And the reason they were saying that is because they predicted that inflation would be at 3% and housing appreciation over the year would be at 6%. And historically, when those numbers are true, the Fed ends up dropping the rates. Now, though both of those numbers were true, inflation was at 3% and appreciation was at 6%. However, the Fed still decided to raise the rate. And the reason the Fed still decided to raise the rate, even though historically they've never raised the rate in this situation, is for four major events that no experts really accounted for. The first of those four events is the banking crisis. That resulted in a ton of just nationally backed stocks and bonds having to be sold over the summer, resulted in the FDIC having to take over three of the world's largest banks and having to just sell their assets all over the summer. That changed things a lot and really just put a stress on the economy. The debt ceiling was also raised to $270 billion, which resulted in just a ton of selling of different treasuries in order to raise that money. It also doesn't help that we had a fixed downgrade for the second time ever in US history. So two more factors that piled on to things that these experts just weren't accounting for and didn't really think would happen over the summer when they wanted these rates to drop. And the last thing that nobody really expected with interest rates is the Fed just taking the federal funding rate to the level it has. Typically, we're only about 2% higher for mortgage rates than inflation. So we're at a 3% inflation rate now. We should be at about a 5% mortgage rate, but we're not. We're at a 7.5%. Why is that? Well, the Fed is trying to get housing prices down. And obviously, they have not done that yet. Our housing prices are about the same. I'll throw up the graph. In the last 3 months, we haven't really seen any change, at least here in the Phoenix Valley, to our housing prices, our median sales price. And what I think is going to happen, I think that the Fed will keep raising the rates until they see some type of drop in the prices. That's their whole goal. Their goal has just been to get the prices down, and they just have not been successful at that. Here in the greater Phoenix area, we've seen a 6.6% appreciation rate of houses this entire year. So even with these higher rates, buyers are still buying and they're still paying the normal appreciation rate that normal buyers would in normal markets. So what does that mean for the Phoenix Valley housing market this winter? I think for the first time all year, we will finally see a slight price drop. The price drop that everybody's been waiting to see. They've been wanting to see the crash. Well, finally, I think we'll see a slight price drop. I don't think it'll be too crazy. And you got to remember the rates are also going to be much higher. Buying a home at the beginning of this year was much easier than it is now. The rates were in the fives. Prices were a little bit lower than they are now as well. So people waiting from this year, they were looking for that crash. They were looking for that really easy time to snag a home later this year. A lot of them don't qualify to buy a home anymore. So I do think that prices will slightly drop this winter. I also think that interest rates will probably continue to rise until they see that price drop. So if the prices don't drop this winter, they'll just raise the rates more and they'll drop next quarter, the beginning of next year. Now, here in Phoenix, we still do have a pretty strong market. We're still seeing upwards of 900 homes close a week here. So, homes will still sell if they're priced right. You can see a lot of buyers still hopping in the market, even with these high rates. A lot of people understand I'll take the hit now and I'll refinance later. I'll, negotiate some seller concessions. It's very common to get seller concessions in this market because of how many sellers understand when they're selling their home, they're most likely buying another home and they see, wow, these rates are high. I'll give some concessions, I'll get some concessions, buy down the rate for a couple of years, and we'll refinance if they ever do come down, which a lot of people are expecting them to come down next year. Obviously, it's a bit hard to tell if they actually will. So, the Phoenix market, what are we thinking this winter? All in all, let's wrap it up. We'll probably see less homes coming on the market this winter. That's normal, seasonal decay. Not too many people are moving during the holidays if they don't have to. We might see a slight price drop. That's what the Fed wants. If they don't see it this time, they'll probably just raise the rates again, and we'll see a slight price drop next quarter. Again, payments are still going to probably be about the same because the rates are going up. I've seen a lot of, and I've helped a lot of clients get into some new build communities. So if you're interested in that, they're buying down the rates to like a 5.5 fixed rate. That's a really great opportunity because that's where the people want the rates to go. They say if it is at 5.5, then I'll buy a home. Well, some of these builders are buying it down to 5.5 fixed. So if that's something you're interested in exploring, give me a call. I've kind of got a map of where all of them are and if one of them would work for you. But lastly, if you're looking to sell your home this winter, if you price it right, it'll be gone in less than a week. That's how it's been going. And we still have a very strong market. There's still plenty of buyers who are well informed on, what buying with a higher interest rate looks like. Be ready to give some concessions on the sale of your home because that's what everybody's doing. A lot of people, sometimes in just the listing, they'll say, hey, we're giving, seller concessions. We'll pay for a 2-1 buy down. So your rate will be 2% lower this year, 1% lower next year, and then it'll go back to a normal rate. That's what a 2-1 buy down is if you weren't familiar with that. So that is something that you should expect to be doing. Be expecting to get some strong offers, maybe above list, but then they'll ask for concessions to make it kind of a net list price. So if you were listed at 300, they might ask for 310, but ask for 10,000 in concessions to buy down that rate. So be expecting that if you are looking to sell your home this winter. But other than that, I think I've gone over just about everything. So if you need any help navigating the market here, give me a call. My name is Caden Leali. I'm a licensed realtor here in the Phoenix Valley. I've got that living in Arizona guide. If you have any questions, just shoot me over an email and I can get that over to you. Other than that, thank you. You have a good one.